We are recording, Carly. Time to go. This is another episode of Synergy's Accidentally Fit podcast. I'm Joe Hashi, and I am joined with Carly Hernald, our marketing manager, as we talk about things that she hears from members that we can help out and things that I hear from people who are generally on the fitness journey and they want ways and tactics to improve themselves and get moving. So if you enjoy the episode and you're listening to it and you get some value, please do engage with it. We're shooting 10 to 12 of these, and we're going to let the dust settle and see if people are getting value from them. So we need to hear from you. So one way is to like this episode on whatever you're listening on podcast, hit it with a comment, or if this episode motivates you to get in and do something and you're not a member with us yet, you can visit synergyfitnessteam.com and grab a free session and come and talk with our staff. So today we're chatting again on goals. We're kicking off the new year, and I have something that I want to say on it, but I'm going to let Carly go first. So Carly's got a very good practical tactic that perhaps you've heard, and sometimes it's not about teaching you something new. It's about reminding you of something that you already know and should work. So she's going to give you a great tactic, and then I'm going to come at you with a tough truth on mindset. Carly, go.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Joe. Alrighty, so one way to go about goal setting, I think this is kind of across the board. Your goal could be fitness related. It could be maybe you're trying to start a small business on the side outside of work or whatever the case may be. It's really important to make sure your goal follows these 5 things. So the 5 golden rules of goal setting, some would say, but the goals need to be SMART. So the acronym SMART, it stands for the S first being specific. So when you're writing out your goals, it's important that they follow these 5 things, as I mentioned. So
I'm going to interject on SMART. Specific. So I find this to be absolutely critical and overlooked. So in a specific goal, a example would be, hey, I want to lose weight. So 3 months go by and you lose half a pound. Did you lose weight? Yes. It was the amount of weight that you wanted? Maybe, maybe not. It wasn't specific enough. I push the staff on this a lot. At Synergy, you say, hey, we want a jaw-dropping customer experience. Well, how do we measure that to know that it's done or not? What's our engagement rates? What's our retention rate? What are the metrics that are specific to us accomplishing this goal? So if it's a fitness goal, it could be lose weight. That's a common one where it's like, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds in a month. Another one I want to expand the way you think about fitness is if you've never been on a routine, it's do 10 workouts in the month. That could be the biggest win in your life coming up, and you give it a specific name. I'm going to do these 10 workouts, and you set yourself up for your first bright spot, your first win by doing that versus setting it. And let's say you haven't been on a successful weight loss journey before, and you say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds in a month. You don't know if that's practical or not. It might be overwhelming. It might set you up for failure. So be specific and think outside the box when you're getting starting on a routine. Realize where you're at and set some goals that you can accomplish. And a big one is just, hey, I'm going to start this journey in an attendance-based specific goal. Go ahead, Carly.
Yep. So I think that leads us into the second one. Well, so the goal also needs to be measurable. So Joe, I would actually ask you the question. If I said I want to lose half a pound, it's specific, but it's also measurable because we state the half a pound. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So the second one is make sure it's measurable. Third, the goal needs to be attainable. Do you want to speak to that, Joe?
Sure, I'll do your job for you, Carly. Attainable is a goal that you may actually reach. And I mentioned that just a minute ago. If you haven't been on a fitness type journey, you have to set yourself up for success and bright spots by choosing something that is the first step. So something like I want to lose 100 pounds in a month. is not practical and it is demotivational. So if it's not actually reachable and you're not making progress towards it, you're going to jump off that goal very quick and you'll feel like, I failed, and you get down on yourself, and there'll be a bounce back time and you'll set yourself up for a longer term when you could have set something that's more attainable for yourself at the beginning. So be practical. We do have, if it's a fitness goal and you're a member, we do have staff to help with that. Hey, I want to accomplish my first pull up. How long do you think it'll take? Is a great question, and one that a lot of our members are working on.
Yep, exactly. And then the fourth is realistic. So it needs to be attainable, but then it also needs to be realistic with kind of what you have going on in your life. And like Joe said, you can talk to a staff member around, based on your current fitness level and some goals you've achieved in the past, what is realistic for your goal setting future. And then lastly, to bring it home, the goal needs to be timely. So there needs to be a time frame attached to it. If your goal is to do 10 pull-ups, what does the timeline look like? Maybe it's, you break the goal down further to do one pull-up per session. So you plan to do 10 pull-ups in a month or whatever it may be, but making sure to attach a timeline to it.
Even though you're paying attention to that realistic piece, with the timely piece, it does help to get some feedback on it to see what's practical. I think it's an Elon Musk saying where if you give yourself 30 days to clean your house, it'll take 30 days. If you give yourself 3 days, it'll take 3 days. It's like you need to give yourself a due date. And if we got a due date in high school or college, a lot of us would wait to the day or two before. If it's practical to move it up, we can move it up. If it's practical to push it back, we got to have that conversation too. But that timely piece and setting the due date is an important component that people often overlook. You got to be right on with that.
Yep, exactly. So that's the setting a SMART goal kind of in a nutshell, but I'll kick it over to you, Joe.
So I have one mindset question that you'll need to answer after you set the SMART goal, which Carly laid out for you lovely. You have to decide whether you are the type of person who wants to tell people about your goal or you're the type of person that wants to keep it to yourself. It is important to make that decision and distinction before you start. There are studies that promote both. Hey, let's tell everyone so it holds me accountable. There's been more recent studies in the world of social media and millennials like Carly where people get the same dopamine release and that same feeling of, hey, I feel good about myself by just telling people about the goal and not doing anything towards it. So they like to publicize, hey, I'm going to accomplish this. And they say that for a week, they feel great. And then they never take the steps towards it. And then they'll repeat that same procedure the following month that they received the benefit of talking about goals, but never did anything towards it. So it is, studies come out on both sides, so I believe it is a personal decision, but one that you need to think about. Am I going to tell my inner circle? If it's going to be just me, am I strong enough to be accountable to myself? Do I have a track record of accomplishing things by myself? Do I have a track record of telling other people about my goals and not accomplishing them? Put some thought into whether you're going to make this public or you're going to keep it a private goal. And that could vary based on the goal. It doesn't have to be an overarching decision. Maybe it's, hey, I want to build up some wins in these first 30 days and build confidence, and I don't need people busting my chops about it. So I'm going to set up this game plan. I'm going to execute on it. And then at the end, I can say I accomplished it if you want to tell people. But until that point happens, you have to be aware that people will talk about the goals. And I always think about this example from a member years ago that she came up with a very cleverly named goal. It followed most of the SMART principles. She wanted to lose, I think it was 35 pounds by her 35th birthday. And it was a good way to remember. I want to lose 35 pounds by her 35th birthday. And we were 6 months out. Like, okay, this is going to be hard, maybe. And then the next month, she kept repeating the goal and sharing it on social media. And she had gained 2 pounds and not attended the workouts yet. And then the same thing the next month, and the same thing the next month. And then we're 1 month out and still saying the same goal of losing 35 pounds now in the last month. She got and this isn't a knock on her, so I'm not using any names or anything like that. It was a very clever goal that followed most of the SMART principles, but she got the good feeling by talking about it and not being about it. And that's the tough truth that I want to put out there is you have to be about it yourself internally. Take the actions, take the steps, and you have to decide whether you're someone who wants to tell others or you want to keep it to yourself and start moving forward.
Yeah, thinking kind of another member example there, Joe. I think a good one, we had a member several months ago who set a similar goal, and she wanted to run a 50K by her 50th birthday. And she was definitely someone who wanted the accountability piece and wanted to share that goal because it was a very exciting goal. And she, I think, did a great job of telling her inner circle and kind of bringing people in it with her to help support. She was supporting a nonprofit cause at the same time. So she kind of had that additional help to reaching that goal. So just kind of two different examples of ways to go about it.
Yeah, it could go either way. And I don't mind mentioning Esther as someone who accomplished it. On the positive side, she told everyone about the goal. It was a cleverly named goal. It was a smart goal. And then she attracted people to go on her runs with her beforehand. She started taking the steps of checking out the course and doing some laps and seeing what's practical. And she did mindset things. She came to our cold day where she jumped in the water, and she boasts that she stayed longer than all the guys in the frozen pond a couple of years ago when we did that. And she took the steps to accomplish the goal at the same time as she was talking about it. So she talked about it and was about it and made it true and had an amazing accomplishment. It's very cool to see. So it can go either way. You got to put some thought into it, is all I'm suggesting at this point. Is what do you want to accomplish? Are we set it up with the SMART principles? Are you going to share? Who are you going to share with? And be purposeful about your goal setting and sharing. Hopefully you grabbed a tactic that can help you towards your goals this year. If you enjoyed the podcast and you enjoyed listening, you can visit us at synergyfitnessteam.com and come in and enjoy perhaps talking to us in person too. Have a great day.